Hello and welcome to United Report. This is your home for all the latest Manchester United news, match updates, transfer stories, and in-depth analysis. Stay connected and never miss a moment. Subscribe now to stay ahead with everything happening at Old Trafford. Marcus Rashford's departure for Aston Villa during the January transfer window brought an end to an unwanted saga for Ruben Amorim and Manchester United. After publicly declaring he was ready for a fresh challenge away from Old Trafford, there was no coming back from that point. The Portuguese head coach spoke repeatedly about standards needing to improve if United were to turn their season around. Now, he'll do that without the ongoing speculation surrounding Rashford's future after sealing a January loan switch to Villa Park, with the option to make that deal a permanent one. Had you said that Rashford would move away from Old Trafford 18 months ago, you'd be shocked. The United Academy graduate has been a constant in the first team under a number of managers, but he has struggled for consistency over the past 18 months. It was only in 2022/2023 that Rashford scored 30 goals in all competitions for the Reds, but since then, he's scored just 15 goals in his 67 appearances that have followed. The England international has not been at his best. That, in part, could be down to Luke Shaw's absence from the United starting 18ths. The Reds' fullback has continued to struggle with injuries that have plagued his Old Trafford tenure, with the 2022/2023 campaign also one where he made his joint most appearances in a Reds shirt. Coincidence? Perhaps. But Rashford himself has spoken about the relationship the pair had down that left-hand side of the pitch, and it's something Amorim hasn't been able to call upon, and it's unlikely that he ever will. Speaking to The Times ahead of England's Euro 2020 campaign, Rashford said, "It's something that we've had a lot of time to work on and grow into understanding each other's games. I feel we're a threat on that side. That's what it's about. It's about trying to connect with your teammates. A lot of the things we do are simple, but they're effective, so we have to keep trying to improve and getting into dangerous areas. I've always enjoyed playing with him. He's a great player, and going into any tournament you can have connections like that all over the pitch." Shaw's absence this season through injury has limited him to just 3 appearances in all competitions, having made just 15 in all competitions in 2023/2024. What was once a solid partnership for United became fragile and inconsistent, both in terms of on the pitch and actual availability. Amorim can't be blamed for looking at alternatives elsewhere. There's an argument to be had that Shaw still has a place in United's new system under the Portuguese. A 3-4-3 with a wing-back could be ideal for the English defender, but it wasn't something that suited Rashford, at least not from what we saw. Chido, the Manchester United under-18 coach Adam Lawrence yelled before offering applause. Chido Obi Martin never looked like missing his 26th minute equaliser. Obi Martin nonchalantly jogged back into his own half, eager to restart the game. United ought to have led, but Jack Fletcher and James Scanlon did not connect cleanly with the ball. Obi Martin did. Within 18 minutes, they went from 1-0 down to 3-1 up. Lawrence yelled, "Well done" to Obi Martin as early as the 3rd minute, and there was another in the 28th, then a third in the 54th minute. Those 2 words sufficed for Sir Alex Ferguson, if ever one of his players had performed. The only time Obi Martin erred was when he failed to round the keeper and momentarily felt sorry for himself. Lawrence soon jolted him. Obi Martin completed his hat-trick in the 65th minute. The team sheet read, Chido Obi, a name change possibly foreshadowing Obi Martin's national team allegiance. He was born in Denmark, but is seemingly destined to represent Nigeria. Obi Martin now has 7 goals in 3 FA Youth Cup games. That is as many as Alejandro Garnacho tallied during the triumphant Youth Cup run in 2022 in half as many games. The last time United beat Chelsea in the competition at Lee Sports Village in 2018, a 17-year-old Mason Greenwood hit a hat-trick. Chelsea had monopolised the Youth Cup back then and were beaten for the first time in 5 years. United's under-18 age group is arguably the best in the country, with Arsenal's deprived of Ethan Nwaneri and Miles Lewis-Skelly. United head to Arsenal in the quarter-finals. It was a travesty that Old Trafford did not host this tie between the Youth Cup's 2 most successful clubs. Cost-cutting measures have been cited, but not confirmed. A minuscule crowd of 738 assembled, and the handful present may wear this match as a badge of honour if Obi Martin makes the step up. The inevitability about Obi Martin homing in on goal is in stark contrast to the two number 9s in the United first team squad. Rasmus Højlund has not lived up to his squad number change, and his number might be up this year. He's doing his job, Ruben Amorim said when asked about Obi Martin last week. He's improving, he's playing in the youth teams, and also we have other players who can play that position. Rasmus and Josh are there. We bought these two players, we need to improve them, and sometimes the confidence can change a player. We will see in the end of the season, but until then we have two strikers who can score goals. They've proved in the past, so let's see if we can improve as a team to help them to score goals. Joshua Zirkzee made good on that with a first goal in 12 games against Leicester City. He can ill afford another similarly lengthy drought. Jason Wilcox and Darren Fletcher were in attendance at Lee Sports Village. Academy football is technical director Wilcox's wheelhouse from his 5.5-year stint as Manchester City's academy director. Erik Ten Hag tapped into Fletcher's knowledge of United's homegrown prodigies, and the first team coach remains a bridge between the youth team and first team under Amorim. Obi Martin only turned 17 in November, but his pedigree at academy level and high-profile defection from Arsenal in the summer quickly created a buzz. United's goal-scoring struggles at senior level have only fueled the hype. Nothing passed, Chido. Nothing passed, Lawrence commanded, as United saw out the first half. Obi Martin towered above Landon Emenalo, the son of the former Chelsea sporting director Michael. Fellow centre-half Olutayo Subaloye attempted to literally get to grips with Obi Martin and was clutching at thin air. He is selfless, as well as selfish. Obi Martin could have turned and shot at goal in the 82nd minute, but cutely laid the ball off for substitute Victor Musa, who curled narrowly wide. Obi Martin was substituted before the game restarted and was embraced by Lawrence. There was applause from teammates, staff and supporters before Obi Martin exchanged high fives in the dugout. Scanlon, involved during United's pre-season tour and already a full international with Gibraltar, recovered from his fluffed finish with two finely taken goals to put United ahead. Jadon Sancho, the right-back, was responsible for two deft assists in a swashbuckling first half. Obi Martin rushed straight to Sancho after Scanlon's precisely placed header gave United a 2-1 lead. On the opposite flank was Harry Amas, now more muscular than in pre-season. Amas was bypassed in the first seconds and hit the ball into touch twice before the 4-minute mark. He had a forthright exchange with fellow Londoner Lawrence, and having his manager within earshot had the desired effect as he gradually improved. Obi Martin celebrated his contest-killing second goal by imitating Marcus Rashford's celebration. Rashford's breakthrough came in February 9 years ago, yet he and Greenwood have been consigned to United's past. Obi Martin represents the future. Manchester United are facing a challenging task of signing Sporting CP striker Victor Gyökeres in the summer transfer window. United have been strongly linked with the Sweden international after Ruben Amorim's appointment. Gyökeres has scored 77 goals in 85 games for Sporting after being signed by Amorim in 2022, forcing himself on Europe's top clubs' transfer radar. After staying put in the January transfer window, a move away from Lisbon is expected in the summer. Sporting have all but accepted losing their talisman, with reports in Portugal suggesting that the player and club have a gentleman's agreement which will allow Gyökeres leave at the end of the season for around £58.6 million to £62.8 million. United remain desperate for reinforcements in attack. Rasmus Højlund's last goal came in the 2-1 Europa win over Victoria Plzen on December 12th, while there remain question marks over Joshua Zirkzee. Gyökeres remains the obvious target for Amorim, but United are not alone. Spanish outlet Sport have reported this week that Barcelona could look to sign the striker in the summer in anticipation to replace Robert Lewandowski. Despite scoring 31 goals in 33 games this season, the Poland striker turns 37 in August, and the La Liga side's hopes of replacing him with Vitor Roque haven't gone to plan. Gyökeres has emerged as an option, and the report adds that Barcelona could favour a move for him. The Spanish giants hold a good relationship with Sporting CP following the sale of Francisco Trincao. It's understood that Barca maintains a 50% stake in any future sale of the winger, and furthermore, Sporting hold an interest in Roque, which could be used as leverage. Alexander Isak is also an option for Barcelona, but Newcastle are expected to persist with their 100 million plus valuation of the number 9. That means that Gyökeres' services will be in high demand in the summer. If United fail to qualify for European football, which remains a real possibility, they may be forced to watch Barcelona swoop in and land the Swedish star. Manchester United defender Lisandro Martinez has hit back at Paul Scholes after the club legend criticised him, saying the ex-midfielder wouldn't survive in Argentina. Martinez has been ruled out for the rest of the season after it was confirmed the 27-year-old had suffered an anterior cruciate injury in his knee following United's 2-0 home defeat to Crystal Palace earlier this month. Before then, Martinez had been a near ever-present for the Red Devils, but has been involved in some dismal team performances that have seen United fall to 13th in the Premier League table. Scholes recently slammed Martinez when discussing United's lack of quality to win titles. He said the former Ajax defender was not at the level the club need to return to the glory days. Speaking on the overlap fan debate via Sky Bet, he said, "Even when Martinez is fit, he's not good enough to win the Premier League with." Martinez was clearly fired up by Scholes' words as he fired back in a post on Instagram, replying, "This Jinx guy is really hurting. You put him in Argentina and he wouldn't survive." Scholes is never afraid to speak his mind about United players and recently said he would include Martinez in 8 players the club should sell, as well as Marcus Rashford, Matthijs de Ligt, Luke Shaw, Mason Mount, Casemiro, Antony and Joshua Zirkzee. Martinez, who arrived for £55 million in 2022, is not the only United defender who came under fire from Scholes. The 50-year-old also savaged de Ligt, calling him a concern while also critiquing Lenny Yoro. His de Ligt's age 25, and his amount of clubs already concerns me. He was brilliant at Ajax, he seems to be getting worse as he gets older. Bayern Munich, Juventus, they've let him go for some reason. Where are your ambitions? I'm talking about getting a team to win the Premier League. Are you going to win the Premier League with de Ligt and Yoro as your centre-halves? You a fan said you think they're quite good. Is quite good good enough? Look, Yoro is a young player, but I haven't liked what I've seen so far. Did you see the Southampton game? He's a young player, he's one centre-half I would keep when I talk about that spine and 2 centre-halves.